129 post-mission management team briefing, and today with me here at the Johnson Space Center is Leroy Kane, who is the Deputy Program Manager for the Space Shuttle Program, along with the Chairman of the Mission Management Team. Mr. Kane will talk a little bit about the happenings today during the Mission Management Team, what's going on board Atlantis as it is in its first day of first day of its mission with STS-129. And then we'll take some questions from the press here at Johnson Space Center, along with a couple of questions from folks at the Kennedy Space Center. So I'm going to turn the program over to Mr. Kane as he talks about our mission.
Okay, thank you very much. It's great to be here with you today. We were in Florida yesterday for just an outstanding launch of Atlantis. It really was a picture-perfect launch. The countdown was outstanding, and there were just enough clouds and in the area, I think, to make for just some phenomenal pictures. And we just couldn't be more pleased with how the launch proceedings went yesterday. The launch of Atlantis yesterday represents, I think, our fourth launch in about a 6-month time period. So the teams have been extremely busy. It was a very challenging and an exciting summer and fall for us here with all the activities we had in play. We're very proud of the efforts of the team over the past year, and we overcame several obstacles. Going all the way back to last fall, I was reminded that you'll recall the Hubble Space Telescope had some issues on orbit, and so they needed a replacement unit. One of their command and data handling computers was having issues. So all of that led to some challenges for us in the shuttle program in terms of our manifest. We rejuggled some things. The teams worked very hard and got creative. And ultimately, we ended up bringing Atlantis back onto the manifest for 2010 to help resolve some of those challenges. We then set out and launched the 119 mission last year in the midst of what had turned out to be some problems with flow control valves after 126 at the end of last year's calendar year. So we dealt with those issues. We also had issues with the ground umbilical carrier plate leaking in the summer. We had fill and drain valve issues. We had weather issues and challenges with lightning strikes. The shuttle processing team was very instrumental in terms of helping the Constellation team with putting together and rolling out to the launch pad and getting the 1X test flight vehicle launch. So it's been a very busy time for us, a very challenging time for us. And so I think yesterday's launch of Atlantis was kind of the culmination of a lot of hard work and effort by the team. And as I said, we couldn't be more pleased. It's an amazing team that we have here, and it really stretches all the way across the country, and certainly it stretches throughout the centers within the agency. And we just couldn't be more proud to be part of that team. So a great start to the 129 mission here, and the crew is on orbit. We had our first on-orbit mission management team meeting today, and everything is going exceedingly well. The mission's going very well. The crew of Atlantis is doing, they're just in great shape. Today, as you know, for Flight Day 2, they spend a great deal of time on the inspection work. They get the robot arm out with the inspection system on the end of it, and they inspect the wing leading edge and the nose cap, all the reinforced carbon. All of that is complete now, and the arm is berthed. They'll begin downlinking all of that data for the engineers to review, and we'll do our normal review of all of that data as it relates to looking at the thermal protection system on Atlantis. The crew also checked out 2 spacesuits today, 2 of the extravehicular mobility units. The 2 EMUs checked out good, no problems there. They were also busy downlinking a lot of our data from imagery data from post-external tank separation, the wing leading edge impact detection system data from powered flight. So all of those data acquisition and downlink activities are on the normal timeline, and the teams are busy sorting through that data and doing all the normal assessments. The crew is also, at this point in time, they're working on their preparations for rendezvous and docking with the International Space Station tomorrow. So they have those activities in play in earnest now. And in just a few short hours, they'll be getting into their pre-sleep period to end their first full day on orbit. The preliminary assessment of some of the data that we've seen on imagery and some of the downlinked information that we have from the vehicle is that Atlantis's performance was just really, really good. Outstanding performance of the external tank during ascent. We saw very few, again, preliminarily, we saw very few events that are of interest for us to look at. And of course, we'll look in great detail at all of that data over the course of the next few days and go through our normal processes and our template for clearing the vehicle as we spend our time docked to the International Space Station. So we did talk a little bit in the mission management today also about some challenges on the space station. As you probably have heard, they have a problem with their waste collection system. The distillation assembly or the DA is a unit that's part of that urine waste collection system, and it's not working properly. So in fact, they have decided that they would like to remove and replace that part of the system. So sort of a late breaking part of the mission here for Atlantis and the crew will be to bring that particular element, that piece of the space station waste collection system home with us on this mission. And so again, that I think really illustrates quite well the function and utility of the space shuttle system, where as late as the first day on orbit, we can determine that we have what turns out to be a very large piece of equipment on the space station that we're in fact going to return with us to Earth, and then they'll have some subsequent work to do on orbit on the space station to put that system back together with some new pieces that we might bring up with us on STS-130, the next mission here in February. They also have some challenges very recent here in the last day or two with their water processing assembly. And those challenges are ones that they believe that they can manage not only during our docked mission here, but between now and in the subsequent stage mission that they have after we leave and before we get back and return with Endeavour in February. So a couple of issues that the space station program outlined and summarized for us in the mission management team today, and just to make us aware before we show up tomorrow and get linked up with them. They wanted to make us aware of how their systems are performing. But neither one of those issues are going to affect our ability to have a safe rendezvous and docking with the space station. In fact, neither one of the issues will affect our ability to have a completely nominal docked mission with the space station crew and with the two vehicles. So we're very much looking forward to the day tomorrow where the crew will get docked safely with the space station. We'll get the hatches open. I think docking's about 10:53 Central Time, and then hatch opening is a couple hours later at 12:48 Central Time. And after that, the crew will get on with the primary objectives of the mission in earnest. We'll get ELC-1 unberthed, and we'll get on with moving that over to the space station and the other activities that we have planned for this mission. So in summary, Atlantis and the Atlantis crew are doing exceedingly well. We couldn't be more pleased with how this mission has gone so far. We're coming to the end of the first full day on orbit here, and we're in great shape, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.